Here with us now, Republican Senator from Mississippi, Senator Roger Wicker. Good to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
You're so nice and cheerful.
Well,
what do you think of what Peter King had to say? Do you agree?
Well, you know, Peter King is always good for a nice soundbite, and I enjoyed working with him for the.
I saw you chuckle there.
Well, yeah, he's good TV.
He's good TV.
This is the reason he's on all the time.
Is he bad politics?
I think Peter King has been successful in his district for ages and ages, and I like him, and he does well.
You are good politics, sir.
And good TV.
Not only are you from Mississippi, which of course makes you incredibly polite and charming, but also you've been around for quite some time in Washington, D.C. When did you start?
Well, I was elected in 1994. There was this guy, Joe Scarborough.
Yes.
Was elected from Florida.
You know what? He's not here right now. He's on location.
Okay.
So tell us about Joe.
Soup kitchen.
Yeah, so maybe I could get some intelligence, sir, on history of working with Joe.
Well, he was really one of the original bomb throwers.
Oh, my God.
No.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Was he a red hot, as Pat Buchanan says?
I don't know about that, but he was a hard charger. Believed in what he said and didn't mind saying it.
Yeah.
And it was good to work with.
Okay, so compare then and now. And what Peter King was talking about, what John Boehner did last week, and I think perhaps might have a good, might be a good strategy toward the midterms.
Okay.
But then again, where do you all stand?
The Republicans fought back then.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as a matter of fact, Joe was part of a group that challenged the Speaker in the first term and voted down a rule which brings a bill to the floor. And the Speaker called us all in and asked him to come up and give an account. Then, you know, in 1997, there was the attempted coup against Newt Gingrich. So we've had these little skirmishes. And the point is, we got over them, and we had the control of the U.S. House of Representatives for 12 years. I think we're going to get over this one. I think this is the year of the 6-year itch. President Obama is very unpopular. He's seen as sort of imperial now. Obamacare is a failed program, not only from a technical standpoint, but also just from a human standpoint. And so I think this is going to be a great year for Republicans. So this little skirmish will be over. It is over, and we're going to move to things that unite Republicans.
And is one of those things keeping our promises to veterans you've written about?
Absolutely.
So
yes.
Talk about your op-ed, and instead of reading it to you, why don't you talk about why you wrote it and what your point was?
To balance the budget, we're going to have to deal with entitlements. But why on earth would we choose as the first entitlement to deal with people who have signed on for an active career in the military, who fulfill their 20-year responsibility, and they're receiving their pension?
And everyone agrees with that. How did that become a political piñata?
You know, I think it says something about going back to following the rules. I was on the Budget Conference Committee. Nobody ever asked me about that, and when it turns out, the compromise didn't come out of the conference committee. 2 people behind closed doors came up with this, and it wasn't vetted by the membership. If it had been, I don't think it would have seen the light of day. But we got it corrected, and we're back to where we were. We were keeping our promises to retired veterans, and we found an offset, so we didn't just add $6 billion back to the national debt, which a lot of people would like to have done.
Right. Senator, looking back at last week, all the way 7 days ago, whenever it was.
Oh, yes. That's so
yesterday. John Cornyn and Mitch McConnell. Some people believe, I think my friend Nicole here, and arguably a lot of other people believe, that they stood up and did the grown-up thing and went for a clean debt ceiling so that the party could move on, so that the country could move on, but politically also that it was the best thing to do, to move on, to not have another, Ted Cruz shutdown, dragging down the Republican Party. In retrospect, what do you think?
I think a lot of people feel that way. I know the Wall Street Journal, I think, surprised a lot of people when they came out very strongly in favor of what not only Speaker Boehner did, but what Leader McConnell and Cornyn did.
And
then the National Review
also.
also.
Challenge, so
that's right. And I think John Cornyn's primary is about 2 weeks from now, and I think you're going to see an overwhelming vote for John Cornyn for a variety of reasons. Listen, the Republican conference all 45 of us in the Senate, were united in not wanting a clean debt ceiling. If you have to raise the debt ceiling, we like to get some sort of debt reduction measures attached to it, like we did a couple of years ago with the Budget Control Act. That actually saved money. It wasn't the most comfortable thing, but we actually attached something to it that worked against the rising debt going forward. For whatever reason, the Speaker ran a number of suggestions up the flagpole, wasn't able to get any. It was obvious that we were going to have a clean debt ceiling sooner or later. And I think that the judgment of our leadership was, let's get this behind us. We're not going to win this one. And so we sort of made a strategic retreat. And we're going to pivot to issues that unite us for this election, like this imperial presidency, like Obamacare, and the
I think Obamacare remains to be seen, but we'll see. We can disagree on that. Senator Roger Wicker, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. Running out of time.